Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is hopefully the first of a new series of weekly updates. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while to get more serious about writing and the career side of things. I thought I might get people excited for actually what I'm making if I actually gave updates like this. So here we are. There are a few things I want to go through today. First of all, I'm going to try to use this update to do like a brief overview of all of the things that I'm currently working on. So like what plans I have, what's in the back burner, and then I want to jump into things that I'm doing outside of writing as well as my plans for the rest of the week. First of all, I should probably jump into my main project, which is called Fundamentals of Artistry. It is part of an ongoing series, which I am calling Spark. For now. The thing about that series in particular is that spark is a really overused term within the writing space in general. So I don't know if I'm going to actually keep it that way. We'll see for now. But Fundamentals of Artistry is my first sort of novel length thing that I'm trying. And it's set, first thing that I've set in my extended universe, which I'm calling K-On! So probably not going to be the first thing that's actually published in the universe, which I'll get to later, but it's the first thing that I actually started working on. So Fundamentals of Artistry is an epic fantasy. It's set on a world with people who gain elemental powers through rifts that appear on their body. So like I have people who have them on like their forearm, one in their stomach, one in their like esophagus or whatever. They have it on their hands, obviously. Yeah, they have elemental powers, though usually not the elemental powers you think. A lot of people do fire, ice, air, wind, whatever. This one's actually going to be some different things. So far, we have heat, ice, electric, magnetic, vibration, chemical, and then others. First book follows 4 viewpoint characters who are called Spark, Grav, Caxt, and Ignook. They're going to interact with each other in interesting ways, basically play around the very fundamental ideas that make up this sort of universe. I can't say anything else without spoiling it. That was me trying to give you an explanation without overtly spoiling everything that I have going on. So where is it at? So Fundamentals of Artistry is currently at 44,000 words. So that's a lot for me. The problem with being at 44,000 words at this point in the book is that I'm splitting it into like 2 things, to like 2 segments. And I haven't even finished the first. The second one should go much faster, so when I have all of the viewpoints sort of synced up. I know a lot of writers like to talk about their progress in terms of like percentages. I got this weekly update idea from Brandon Sanderson, who always talks about it in percentages. He goes, bing, and there it is. But I personally prefer to talk about it in terms of word count because it's kind of like how I gauge things. I'm almost at 45,000 words, which is a lot for me. But it's going well so far. It's going well. Yeah. So as someone who hasn't made a lot of works to this magnitude, it's really hard to tell how far I am through the story as well. So that's another reasons why I'm using this system. As I said, it's going pretty good so far. I'm getting to the point where some characters are going to be like reunited into the same place in the same time. So from there, I have one major arc to write before all the characters together in the same location. There's some reuniting now. One of them's going to join them later. And I already went into the 2 major portions. The first one I have finished, or not finished, but I'm working to finish. I'm getting there. If I had to estimate, that'll probably be somewhere around 60,000 words I'll get to it. I have 3 characters are going to meet up, and they're going to have a sort of thing that they're doing. And then the other one's going to come. That's when the next arc is going to launch off. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on when exactly that's going to happen. I don't know. Second part's more ambiguous because it's only really in my head right now. I haven't outlined it or anything in my writing notebook, which I will show you, by the way. I'm going to show this in a later video. I'll talk about that more later, but boom, writing notebook. Very cool. Got lots of secrets in here. Ow. Poked myself. Poked myself twice. Anyways, it sucks that I have to talk about this in vague terms, but I don't want to reveal the plot of this book. because, it's kind of what has to happen. And if I want you to buy the book, then I can't really tell you what's going to go on in the book. And that's also no fun. Chapter-wise, I'm at 13 chapters right now, waiting to write the 13th. That's going to be probably my big task for the week. I plan to probably write that tomorrow. I was going to write it today, but I have this thing that I do. It's called laziness and procrastination. And I'm hoping this thing, at least, is going to help me not do that. Either way, I'm going to try and force myself to finish it as soon as possible, and hopefully it'll be good as I want it to be. Next update will probably be mostly about that, at least for fundamentals of artistry. And then secondly, I want to mention some of the other projects that I have going on. I've got some shorter works, 2 of them. First is Heart of Ice, which is another short story that's set in K-On! It specifically follows Cax, which I mentioned from Fundamentals of Artistry. It's basically more of a prologue to FOA than anything else. It's a story that I really wanted to tell about her backstory, but I didn't really have time or the resources to actually do it in Fundamentals. So I am putting it here. And I did it because I needed a story for my intro to creative writing class. And so I did that, and it turned out pretty well. Right now, it just needs a lot of revisions. Just because I did it for my creative writing class, it's not say it's not good. It's just a thing out of necessity. And it's really the only time you'll be able to see the relationship between Cax and her mother, which is a big thing that she kind of has to work through in the book. It's an overall interesting story to tell. And you probably won't hear it or see it unless I put flashbacks in, which I don't know if I'm going to do, because I really love Brandon Sanderson as an author, but I don't want to copy Stormlight. And if I put interludes that have people's past in them, I feel like I am. So I'm going to probably try and avoid that. I might need one, especially for Spark, but I don't know yet. Either way, Heart of Ice, it's really cool, worthwhile reads. There's a good introduction to the political situation in the country of Guzat, and it's another thing to get you excited for Fundamentals of Artistry. I've finished it pretty much, but as I said, it requires a lot of revisions. And I'm still waiting on people to get back to me with reading it and actually getting those revisions to me. So I don't know what it's going to be yet. Both in terms of polishing previous revisions and getting newer feedback on sections I added. I probably won't be releasing this until a little bit later. And when I do release it, I'm probably going to try and publish it, which is something that's very difficult to do. So that one's not going to be out on the YouTube channel or a website once I get it up. But I will try to keep you updated on the status of that thing, because it is a worthwhile read. And then second of the shorter projects is a creative nonfiction piece, which is weird for me because I don't usually write in that style. The only time I really write in that style is when I'm talking about like this sort of stuff, where it's essays. I have a second channel that I made when I was 13 called Smash Potter, and I put 2 reviews on there, and that's kind of my like personal writing. What's different about this piece is that it's very artistic, way more artistic than any of my personal writing has been. It's kind of an essay, but not. It's very much rooted in scene rather than, hey, this is a thing that I'm going to talk about. So that's going to be an interesting thing. I should probably name drop it. This piece is called The Music of Stillness. It's a commentary about the time I got into district chorus my senior year of high school. So it's really fun, and it's a really emotional piece. It's about music, practice, determination, and the stars. So it's something that I'm really proud of. And while I didn't really set out to make a piece that was like really, really good, creative nonfiction wise, it's ended up being probably one of the things that's like my best prose that I've ever written. So I'm excited to release it. I really am. This is one, because it's not my actual prose that I want to publish, and it's not the usual stuff that I want to write. I want to release this as something just, as a free piece. I'm going to, once I get revisions back on it, it's finished. I think it's at a really high standard. I'm just waiting for people to read it, give me some more feedback to make sure I have all the bases covered and all the rounds good before I actually release it. But once I do have that, which will probably be soon, I'm working on it basically as we speak. I'm still waiting on revisions to come back as well. Once that happens, I'm going to record it, and I'm going to put it in an audio-visual thing to put on YouTube, as well as probably release it on some sort of website if I can get that up soon. I want to talk about some projects in the back burner, but specifically one project, because I don't have names for any of the other stuff that I've done, much less a decision of whether I'm actually going to do it or not. But I do have one that is concrete, and that is a project I'm calling The Carpet Siege. I can't write fundamentals of artistry forever. At one time, throughout the recent semester in college, I don't know if you guessed, but I'm in college. One of the things that has kept me sane is that while writing fundamentals of artistry, I have been doing other things. I've been writing Music of Stillness. I've been writing Heart of Ice. It's helped me stay sane and have some variety. So The Carpet Siege, which is a pun, by the way, it's keeping me sane as I write fundamentals of artistry, and it is basically something I can pour my creative juices into without, it being the stuff that I have to write. It's a more fun piece. It's for me. So we'll see how that turns out. But let me tell you a little bit about it. Whole story basically revolves around two criminals who got married, but they're having really bad relationship problems. Both of them are actually much older than you would see in this type of story. It's like 45. They're out of the business, but the man cannot stop going into the business, and he continues stealing stuff even when they're out of it, and police aren't on to them completely clean. Then he has a really bad argument with his wife, gets thrown out of the apartment, and he resolves to win the girl back by getting her the best gift that he can possible, which turns out to be a carpet, hence Carpet Siege. I thought it was funny. See, one of the things you will learn about me as you watch these things is that I really like to laugh at my own jokes. So I apologize for that. I'm sure you can tell this one's supposed to be funny. It's an exercise outside of my normal writing that lets me play with tropes and genres that I haven't really experimented with outside of fantasy. So that's probably going to be a common thing. But for this one specifically, I'm talking about a heist story with romance and comedy, which I think is a really cool thing to do. And I'm actually really excited for it. It is not something I've done before, but I think it's going well. I haven't gotten very far in it. I'm really only in the introductory bits, and how much I actually work on it really depends on if I feel like it. So if I feel like it, I'm going to work on it. But if I don't feel like it, I won't work on it. So if that does interest you, I will probably work on it pretty soon, because I haven't in a while, and I feel bad when I don't work on things for a while. I was going to submit this one as the fiction piece in my creative writing class, but it ended up being way too long, and then I wrote Heart of Ice, which originally was kind of in, the realm of possibility, and then I went into revisions and it ended up being 22 pages. So, I tend to go overboard a bit. Either way, I'm probably going to write it. We'll see what happens. I also want to talk about non-writing projects for a minute here. Video you're seeing right now is one of those. Yeah, generally I want to start getting my stuff out to a wider audience, and this is the first step in doing so. I want to start using social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. I made a Twitter already, which I've barely used, and then especially YouTube. I think YouTube's a really nice way to make these sorts of videos, just talking about the stuff so it doesn't go crazy, bouncing around in my head 20,000 times a day. And it's a good way to grow a following too. So I've got a bunch of ideas for stuff that I want to do with it. As far as actual ideas, I already talked about the Music of Stillness, which I'm planning on doing. Music of Stillness, specifically how I want to release it. I want to talk about that for like 5 seconds. I want to do an audio visual format. So I'm going to read it like I'm talking to you right now, reading off of like actual words rather than having a base script and saying it to you in front of me. I'm just doing this so it feels much more organic, and it makes sense, and I can actually look at the camera. But there will be no like me sitting by a fire and reading it. It's more going to be just my voice, and then I'm going to have pictures flashing on the screen. If you go to my other YouTube channel, you'll see that I sort of have like a background and try to move things along. What I'm most likely going to do for the Music of Stillness and projects like that in the future is I'm going to flash pictures along more like. I might do the attention span grabbing thing and put subtitles on. I don't know yet, but we'll see. I don't know how it's going to go. I'll probably experiment it with a few things, but I have to record it first. And then I have one future video planned, which is something that I've written a half-baked script for. Right now I'm calling it What is Kaon, which basically I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to walk you through it. So that's going to be fun, but it's going to be hard because there's a good amount. There's a good amount in there. Basically, it's going to be an explanation of, hey, what is this expanded universe that I've created, and how does it work? What's going on? What was the explanations behind it? That sort of stuff. So it's going to go into a bit of detail. I don't know how spoilery it's going to be. I'm going to try not to, have too many, but it's basically going to be sort of an introduction to the channel so that, you guys have something to look at. And I also should get more videos than the skits that I made when I was in high school. Those skits are great. I'm not going to take those down. I love them. They have a special place in my heart. But yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about today. Those are the updates. Thank you for tuning in, so to speak. I'm hoping to try and do this every week. I don't know how consistent I will be. We'll see. It might end up being bi-weekly updates, but hopefully not, because I kind of have to do the update and then edit it and release it the next day. We'll see how that schedule works out. Either way, I hope to keep you guys updated next week with more news and more progress that I've made.